Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to do a quick and dirty uh, focus on 10 beautiful budget blades. Obviously, a knife is a tool and it has a purpose, which is very utilitarian. But, for some people, you want something that has a certain aesthetic, pleasing value to the eyes. And there's a lot of sexy knives out there, a lot of knives that just are super beautiful to look at, but some of them are pretty expensive. And for those of you that are newer to collecting knives, or maybe you're just someone on a budget, and you can't afford to say, spend $600 on a Microtech or even $200 on a Benchmade. Here's some knives that you can carry that really are nice to look at. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to go left to right, and I'm going to start out with the least expensive knives and just keep moving down the line. So each one's going to be short and sweet. So we're going to start out with the Kershaw Injection. Now, I was a little hesitant about this knife at first because it's not really, I don't know, doesn't have a lot of beauty to it, I would say, at first. But when you really look at it, it has very classic lines. Nothing fancy, but super classic. And here's the deal. This knife, which is a Rexford design knife, and Rexford knives are famous for doing some beautiful work on some ZTs. This is a $14 knife. $14 available on Blade HQ. And this knife, my understanding is it's been discontinued by Kershaw, but it's still available online. And at $14, I mean, that's really hard to beat. So yeah, and Kershaw is a quality company. This knife is manufactured in China, but Kershaw is still a great company. All right, so moving along. The next one here is the Ganzo 7531 with carbon fiber scales. And this one I got for 20 bucks off of Amazon. $20, not bad at all. Pretty aggressive stance here with the knife, very aggressive looking blade. But still, it really has some nice lines and looks really, with those carbon fiber scales, it's just a beautiful knife. I think this knife used to be available with some blue hardware with the thumb studs, but it doesn't look like they sell it in that version anymore. But this one, $20 off of Amazon. I mean, that's just really hard to beat. It has their version of the Axis lock, which was invented by Benchmade, but their patent ran out, so now other companies are using it. There you go, moving right along. Next, and this is a pretty different looking knife. This is the Camoran, and the Camoran KO021 in red carbon fiber. I mean, look at that. Look at how that really pops. This is definitely not your average looking knife. It's got a unique blade design, and it's a bit chunky. It's a bit big, But, I mean, it's also kind of a conversation piece, and it has those sort of Asian-inspired themes to it. Something that if you took out, people would probably ask about it. They'd be curious. It's got that stone-washed blade going on there. All right. Next, and we're going to feature here our second Ganzo. Now, people who are familiar with knives, and especially budget knives, they're definitely familiar with Ganzo. So this is the FH11, $27. And this is available, or I should say this comes standard, in D2 steel. And look at that, just very straight ahead, no frills, but a very nice classic look. And in D2 steel, I mean, for a $27 knife, that's pretty hard to beat. This one sits very nicely in the pocket too. I mean, the fact that it has very straight lines just kind of falls into your pocket. All right, moving right along. So the next knife here, and forgive me because I've heard this pronounced multiple ways, Ruike, Ruike, Reich. But R-U-I-K-E is how it's spelled. And this is an all steel knife with a frame lock with blue hardware, including the clip and the thumb studs. You can also open this as a flipper. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could say this has a little bit of like a modern look with the all steel. You know, it's definitely got some sex appeal. Flips out nice and easy every time. You could also use the thumb studs if you want. And it's the only knife that I have here on the table today that has a frame lock. All right, next knife. All right, this knife, I don't know, I guess you could kind of call this like a gentleman's knife, if you will. This is the CRKT, or Columbia River Knife and Tool, Ruger LCK. And LCK is an abbreviation for lightweight compact knife. $30 on Blade HQ. This knife, when it's closed like this, can almost disappear in the hand. It's not very big at all. Gorgeous blade on there. Really, really sharp looking, you know. Yeah, definitely what you could sort of refer to as a gentleman's knife. You know, you could see yourself in a suit and tie and keep this in your pocket. It's not going to, you know, freak anyone out when you take it out, as opposed to maybe if you pulled out some big old blade. All right. Now, the next knife, did I already tell you this one? Yeah, $30 on Blade HQ. Sorry about that. The next knife is your second Kershaw on the table. And this knife is kind of interesting. This is the Kershaw Atmos. $33 available on Blade HQ. This knife weighs 2 ounces. It's by far the lightest knife here. It's also the smallest. I mean, this one, it pretty much disappears when it's in your hand, when it's closed. When I first picked this knife up, it almost felt like a toy in my hand. It was so lightweight. But it's got some really nice appeal with this carbon fiber inlay. And it's a manual flipper, unlike a lot of like Kershaw's, which are spring-assisted blades. But this thing comes out like it's spring-assisted. It's got a nice stiff detent and some aggressive jimping up on that flipper knob. So when it comes out, I mean, it pops out with authority. I played with this thing quite a bit, and it is never misfired. 100% of the time when that knife comes out. So, yeah, I mean, this if you want something super lightweight, again, 2 ounces. If you're carrying this knife, you don't even really know it. You don't feel it. It's got a nice deep carry pocket clip too, so it's going to disappear in your pocket. So once again, that's the Kershaw Atmos. All right. The next 2 knives are the 2 knives that I'm most excited about right here. And these are both made by Civivi. And Civivi is the budget line of the WE Knife brand. WE Knives makes higher end knives. You know, you're talking about knives that are, you know, $200, $300, $400, I guess. And this is their budget line where, you know, there's no titanium, there's no premium blade steel, but they've just made these knives beautiful, beautiful, sexy, and buttery smooth to use. So this first one here is the Civivi Backlash. And both these knives, the Backlash and the next knife that I'm going to talk about, are $42.50 on Blade HQ. I think they're both out of stock right now, so obviously they're very popular. But still, I mean, if you can find them somewhere at that price, get your hands on these. They're just absolutely gorgeous. This has a nice blue liner to complement it. Both these knives come standard with a deep carry pocket clip. They're both flippers, and they both have these really gorgeous blades on them. I mean, look at that design. Nice jimping up on the spine of the blade. Nice little finger choil down there if you need to do some detailed work. But just a beautiful knife. The Civivi Backlash. $42.50, that's amazing. Honestly, I picked up both of these knives and I couldn't be happier with them. All right. The next Civivi, again, also available for $42.50 from Blade HQ, is the Praxis. Now look at that. Praxis has these gold liners, and these liners, can't really see it very well here, but these liners have been milled out on the inside underneath the scales so that they're a little more lightweight. I mean, they really have spared no attention to detail with these knives and yet still managed to sell these at such a great price. Praxis has a much beefier looking blade to it. This is probably my favorite budget knife that I currently have. I mean, I love the look of that, you know. Again, it's got the same, you know, jimping up on the spine and a nice size finger choil for detailed work, but just a gorgeous, beautiful blade. I mean, I really love these Civivi knives. $42.50, you can't go wrong. Just drops down smooth, buttery smooth, nice detent, just drops right into the frame. All right, so lastly, and you know, I was a little bit hesitant on this knife also because, well, I mean, it's not typical. It kind of harkens back to the days of switchblades and Italian stilettos, but still, I think that old school look is kind of nice. You know, I think it has like a nice visual appeal to it. And this is the Cold Steel Tylite. This is the 4-inch blade version, so it's a nice size blade. Biggest one on the table for sure. And it's available for $45, Blade HQ. Now this is an interesting knife. There are 3 different ways that you could deploy the blade. Now the first one is with this little itty bitty tiny flipper up here. It takes a little practice because it's not really gonna, you know, really grab onto your fingertips. You gotta kind of really push down and maybe give it a little wrist English to get it out, but you can definitely deploy it that way. And the second way is you could deploy it sort of as a front flipper. You know, you grab it up here, pull it open like so. But the way this blade is designed to deploy is really unique and interesting. So the blade sits in your pocket like so. And as you pull it out of your pocket, this catches on to the edge of your pocket and that jimping grabs hold. And as you pull it out of your pocket, that knife automatically deploys the blade. So you're basically taking it out and you're ready to go. I mean, who knows what kind of situations you might need something like that, but it's definitely unique. Sort of similar to the Emerson Wave, but their own little thing. So yeah, there you go. 10 beautiful budget blades, all available for under $45. So go out there, get something nice, have some fun, enjoy yourself, be safe, and you know, please like and subscribe, and I'll try to keep making these videos for you.